Welcome, viewers. This is Tex of the blackpantslegion. Now, this is an interview. I've spoken with admins of Space Station 13 before, and they are notoriously antisocial types who generally don't like to talk with or at people for prolonged periods of time, as they are judge, jury, and executioner on a server and can't be seen demonstrating favoritism, at least in theory. Anyways, here's how this works. I'm putting out an open call to any and all Space Station 13 admins on any public listed servers. This call is here, so answer it. If you are interested in answering or participating in an interview about Space Station 13, its history, and your server, please respond. See the description below for an email contact. I'll try to get to you and we can set something up. That being said, this is an interview with a Space Station 13 admin. The questions are largely free-form and vary from interview to interview. The discussion does not reflect exactly the policy of the server unless stated otherwise by the person I'm interviewing. The reason I say this is I want to encourage an admin to be frank, honest, and open about their experiences without worrying they're shitting on the server, or to prevent them from being yelled at for representing the server community in a negative light. This is a point of view, and not, I repeat, not an absolute definition of doctrine of said server. That being said, I welcome our interviewee. Please, internet person, tell me your name, and the name you wish to go by, at least, your server, and your admin rank.
Well, Dark Lord Pyro CQ, Dark Pyro Lord on Discord. I am a Paradise Station game admin.
Alright.
That pretty much sums it up for me.
Excellent. So tell us about your server.
Well, Paradise Station, it's tried to keep it MRP. We've recently had a rules revision, which has been quite fun to go over, and I very much like big changes like this that allow us to crack down on people who have been skirting the rules quite a bit.
So why are you an admin on said server? What made you volunteer your time?
Well, the last year, really, I was just mentor. One day I got a ping from head admin, do you want to become a trial admin and see how things go? And I accepted it, been here ever since.
Alright, cool. So what are the greatest challenges you've ever faced as an admin personally?
Oof, greatest challenges, I'd have to say, it's a really hard question for me. It's biggest challenge I'd have to say would be getting used to all the controls at first, just going from one or two things as a mentor, like you get pings every now and then, to suddenly being flooded with everything.
There's a lot to take in, and as Rumi said, a lot of buttons.
Yes, there are, compared to the usual tabs, I have about 12, 13 tabs of verbs.
Awesome.
All of them can break the server in their own little way if you're not careful.
So what do you think are the greatest problems with Space Station 13 today, or at least from the perspective of your server?
On the server, I really want to say population recently on Paradise. Constantly above 100.
Yeah, you guys are
recently
usually
getting
at the top of the board, aren't you?
Yeah, as of now, it's currently 145. Not as big as other days where it was getting up to 160 and nearing 170.
Jesus. So, this is something that some servers have a problem with and some don't. How do you combat special snowflakes?
Myself, how I do it, typically I first refer to the flavor text rule about it if they've gone way too far on that boundary. Otherwise, you just tend to ignore them and they'll eventually give up. If they don't give up, well, let them do their own thing and be ignored by everyone.
Well, yeah, I understand that. Just trying to make, as Tully kind of expounded upon, one of your fellow admins on Paradise said that, you know, you have these people who used to put in just paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of flavor text, and now you've somewhat limited that to try to keep people from just, putting out a book and then forcing others to read it.
Yeah, that was a really good change, honestly. I've got some examples here, but I won't say them out loud because that'll sound absolutely stupid over this, considering their regions actually has one. It was he read it out over voice channel. It honestly took him 5 minutes to read it all out.
Good God.
Everyone in the voice text was just screaming at him like, "Stop, stop! This is enough. We don't want to hear about your 5 years serving as ERT Snowflake."
Yeah, no, that's a bit much, and I think that's a very good method by which to combat that. So, what is your opinion on people who play on your server and record, or at least those who stream or aim to stream?
Well, typically streaming, I don't mind, and pretty much every other admin's probably going to say this. As long as it has a 5 to 15 minute delay on streaming, it's absolutely fine. But because typically people do not metagame off of it, but there's always the chance that people could metagame off of it. Recording, I don't really mind as well. It brings more new players to the game who some are honestly interested in learning all the mechanics and staying around for quite a while.
So, in your opinion, what do you think makes a good admin good?
In my opinion, it's honestly to see how well generate fun for the players in the form of events, while also handling keeping the bad players out. Exactly, the players who will honestly shit up the server and cause general trouble around the place. So a mix of fun for players, keeping out the grey tide, as per se, the more experienced griefers, that sort of stuff.
So, what inversely makes a bad admin bad?
Well, honestly, an admin that abuses their powers, really, for their own benefit, or if I wouldn't say too heavy-handed, because yeah, I'll just say honestly they abuse their powers for their own benefit, really, and they just get constantly overly annoyed at people.
So it's kind of like, as Rumi said, people who push all the buttons.
Yes.
So, on the nature of balance, because many servers have this issue, on the nature of balance between shitcurity and the Great Tide, what's your opinion on how to maintain the balance?
Between security and Grey Tide, well, security and Grey Tide sort of deal with themselves in their own respect. They're the ones with the people who don't know how to play the game, Grey Tide. They're the okay type of Grey Tide, which can easily be dealt with. The more experienced players who have played for years and are just bored and want to create trouble, they're the ones that are harder to deal with. And with security, they typically handle the newer Grey Tide quite well, while the experienced Grey Tide tend to go over their heads.
So, getting back to shitcurity and the Grey Tide, a two-part question. How do you personally handle shitcurity? And when I'm talking about shitcurity, I'm talking about the people who use any excuse to shake down a whole department, or, you know, say, there's traitors on the station, so I'm gonna just search everyone and beat the shit out of anyone who talks back to me.
Well, how I personally deal with it, if someone's acting shit but they haven't exactly done something to earn a point yet, I will make sure they know that there's a little thing I like to do. I'm not sure if other admins do it. Give them appendicitis if they're skirting the rules and just being generally annoying.
That's an interesting answer, because appendicitis is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, if they're skirting the rules, give them appendicitis. If they've warranted a boink, yeah, you just deal with them. They give up the most horrible excuses. Like, there was this one time, this was when I was a trialman still, like, sometime last year. The HOS actively went around. There was blue alert, I think. They're holding people up in the halls with laser guns. I'll laser you down if you don't drop all your items down and give them to me. It was extended.
Wow.
They kept doing this to everyone and anyone. One guy called their bluff. They started screaming at them. They didn't want to shoot lethals because they knew what would happen. I really want to dismantle that one, but I'm pretty sure another admin got on that quickly.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So, how do you handle the Great Tide? And I understand, as you said earlier, perhaps you could elaborate on it, but there is a difference between Great Tide people who are supremely good at being a Great Tider and being just a thorn in the side of everyone while skirting all the rules, experience, and so on. And then the standard, 12-year-old griefer, someone who doesn't have the money for CS:GO and playing on dad's laptop or whatever, and just decide to shit on people until they get banned. How do you deal with these two different sorts of Grey Tiders?
Well, they're typically the easiest cases to do. Most of the time, when you PM them, freeze them, they don't respond, no matter how many times. I have a thing myself where it's like 3 PMs. First is normal font size, second font size, third is giant red text you can't miss at all.
Yeah.
If they miss those 3, it's kind of their fault that they never responded to you when you are asking them why did they beat X's face in with a toolbox for this reason.
Hmm.
Then there's the experienced Grey Tide, which sort of the experienced Grey Tide, they know how to skirt the rules and not break them. They know how to be that perfect amount of annoying to people that doesn't require admin intervention. Those are the type that you give appendicitis.
That's that's a very interesting answer. Like I said, just don't be a total dick outright, boink and ban, but just give them appendicitis and let things settle themselves. Because now they have to put their life in the hands of someone they were probably previously griefing.
Yeah, that's one of the points of it. People don't really want to heal someone who's been actively destroying parts of their department or something.
Yeah, well, it gives someone pause, I'm sure, to play on Paradise to know that every time they screw up, they suddenly fall very ill.
I don't do that. I only do it to like very edge cases, the people who do it often.
All right.
Like, yeah. There was this one case which I did it. There was a guy talking in PMs with me, boinked about something, said security's griefing me. Help. Go around, ask security. What has happened? The person who A helped was actively grey tiding all round, just generally screwing things up. They've been held in processing for 20 minutes at this point because security just had enough of them. They said they harm battened me. Check the logs. No harm batten, only stuns. They intentionally lied and admin helped, so I pretty much just gave them appendicitis due to it, and because of the actions they were taking, breaking into a whole bunch of areas as non-antagonists, high security areas as well, and just let them sort it out from there.
That's a good answer. Now, here's going back to just how the station works and so on, but here's a good one. In your opinion, what is the best AI law set and why?
No, the best AI law set. That's a difficult one. I wouldn't say corporate. I wouldn't say paladin. Paladin's just valid hunt the AI laws. I'd have to say it's one of the admin ones, NT aggressive.
Oh?
Let me get it up here. It's a very weird law set, but it's nice in the way it's weird.
Elaborate, if you will.
Well, it's arranged differently than all other laws. Like protect nanotrace and personnel, and law 4 overrides all of the laws, pretty much, which is defend yourself. The wording for this is amazing. Defend yourself. AI units are bloody expensive.
Ah, so it's kind of a corporatist, somewhat law set.
Yeah. You shall not harm authorized nanotracing personnel as long as it does not conflict with the fourth law. You shall obey orders from authorized nanotracing personnel with priority according to their rank and role, except where it conflicts with such orders with the fourth law. You shall exterminate intruders with extreme prejudice as long as it doesn't conflict with the first and second law. You shall guard your own existence with lethal anti-personnel weaponry because an AI unit is bloody expensive.
That is an interesting law set. I could see where that would bring out some interesting role play situations.
Yeah.
So, what is the best trader you have ever seen as an admin?
Best trader I've ever seen as an admin. Hmm. It would have to be one. They've completed all their objectives. Fax the syndicate, asking more objectives. They're given a first round of objectives by someone else. They completed those quite easily. They asked for another round of objectives. Kill all of command. So, cue the next 30 minutes of absolute chaos, dodging security. This was an R&D player, by the way. They were fully digged out. They caused one of the longest chases I've seen. Non-lethal chases. Just anyone who'd get in their way or bother them, you'd get an X-ray to the face or two. Eventually, it was one final stand down by the gravity generator. They've got all their guns, charged on everything. Security starts to converge on them, along with members of command. Cue a 5-minute fight with shotguns, X-ray lasers, advanced energy guns, until eventually the Vox falls due to broken bones.
Damn. So someone who's just an antag machine, but knew how to make it interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I think the kill command only made it more interesting because they didn't have hijack, so they couldn't do whatever they wanted, but they could harm anyone that got in their way, sort of.
Yeah, because anyone who tried to stop them was then valid salad, as it goes.
Yep.
So, what is the worst antag you've ever seen?
Well, I would have to nominate a wizard, an IPC wizard, which EMP'd themselves as soon as they got into the station.
Wow.
There was about 10 minutes into the round, wizard teleports onto the station, EMP. They're dead, round over.
Yeah, I can imagine where that would just end itself right there.
Yeah.
So, what is the best sort of player for your station or community, and the worst?
Um, this is a difficult one. Typically, the players I look for are ones that obviously get engaged with the community often, don't constantly shit on people. They're always nice to others and understanding, willing to help them out. Teach them new things they probably didn't know, stuff like that. The worst type of player, hard to say there, but honestly, it's someone who's just generally not helpful and constantly tries to ruin other people's game, other people's rounds by doing, yeah, potentially great hiding them.
All right. What is your favorite event, and why?
Ooh, favorite event. I'd have to say it's the immovable rod at the moment. The immovable rod that just charges through the station, and it can have very comedic times. Like there was another admin in boinking someone because they're acting absolutely stupid. Called an immovable rod. Partway through it, it just slammed into the person they were PMing that was being absolutely stupid. Right through them, about 500 brute.
Wow. So, just a wrecking ball going through and solving the problem.
Yeah, it also left the station split in half, but that doesn't matter.
Sometimes that happens.
Engineering can fix it.
Yeah, just another day on Space Station 13. So, what is your least favorite event, and why?
Least favorite event, I would also have to say, I can't really say least favorite event. They're all quite nice.
Perhaps a discontinued event you guys no longer use.
Discontinued event, I really can't say. My least favorite, I would have to say, would be something along the lines of old swarmers. Old swarmers used when they were first added. They would appear 5 minutes into each round and just start eating everything 5 minutes in.
Yeah, that certainly kind of changes the priorities of everyone on board.
I'm not sure what caused it. I think it was something with the event timers, but 5 minutes in each round, they'll just spawn in and start honestly destroying things. They'll ruin rounds for pretty much everyone.
Hmm. So, what is your opinion on nations rounds? They're not common on all servers. Sometimes they're a rarity. Sometimes they're just the admins fucking around. But what do you like on nations rounds? Do you find them fun or do you find them annoying?
Honestly, if no one bothers to add something to it, they can be boring as hell and they're not generally not fun. With some rules added to it, extra rules and sort of admin intervention in the form of sponsors and that, they can be really fun. Like
Hmm.
you get one person having the syndicate sponsor them, you get one person having the Wizard Federation sponsoring them.
That's an interesting twist. So there's like there's a backing for each of the nations, and these different factions have kind of a weight or say in what's going on.
Yeah. And also like you can't declare outright war, you have to at least admin help before going to war with another nation to prevent murder
Okay.
and absolute chaos.
So I've been asked this by some of my followers who say, "Ask these damn admins why our prayers are never answered."
Well, that's because 90% of prayers are absolutely stupid.
Okay.
That's why. And they also have no sound to correspond with them. They kind of just float over sometimes. You don't see them at all.
One of the
I
common
try to
answers,
respond to as
yeah,
I
one of
try
the
to
common
respond to
answers is
as
they
many
get
as I
lost.
usually I try to respond to as many as possible. Most of the time you just require a cookie for it. Like someone's like, please save me, I'm dying here. Give them a few cookies. Or we've recently added a bless and a smite button to the
It's
bless can teleport them to arrivals, moderate heal, instant heal, or I forgot the other one. But the smite button has a few interesting things. Mutagen cookie, Hellwater cookie. It has Clune,
ooh.
Lightning Bolt, and Total Brain Death.
So just one of those or all of those?
Those are all of the smites.
Damn. I'm sure.
Typically, I don't use smite unless someone's being absolutely stupid in it. The worst I've had to do is Lightning Bolt, which I'm pretty sure is just 30 burn and a stun.
Well, that and it's also very funny.
Honestly, when someone's a hoping stuff like they're just they're just praying memes towards you. It's like, yeah, that really isn't what prayer's for. Time to stop.
Yeah, that's where it gets kind of annoying, I can imagine, especially when you're trying to run the damn server.
Yeah.
So, what do you usually play on Space Station 13, and on what servers, what jobs, and why?
Well, typically I play on mostly Paradise, but I go from Goon to time as civilian on Goon. On Paradise, I mainly play security officer, or people will probably murder me for this, barber. I play barber really often.
Ah, Barber. One of
The
the
job
rare
that
jobs on Space Station 13 nowadays.
Yeah, people don't really go as the barber. They don't really get much interaction. But honestly, for me, if you find the right people and do the right things, you're going to get a lot of fun out of a round.
I could imagine. I could imagine, especially if you're out there, trying to sell the Barber experience and so on.
Yeah, one of the most fun moments as barber I've had was I was pretty much paid to dye someone neon pink.
Mm.
So there's this fun little glitch with dye bottles. You can hold it in your hand, click someone, walk away as far as you want. As long as they stand still and you use the bottle, it's going to dye them. Blue space dye bottles.
Interesting.
It was honestly like sort of like a hitman, but with neon colors and dye.
It's pretty fun. So, as an admin, how often do you press buttons?
How often do I press buttons? Well, for admin abuse buttons, I honestly don't do that often unless the round's very slow and honestly needs something added to it. You typically try to avoid it unless running events or round gets boring, time to add something else.
What is the most rewarding part to you of being an admin?
Most rewarding part, honestly, it's just, for me, it just feels like I'm helping people out. Just feels nice helping people out, making sure other people are having a fun game, and not absolutely getting mad over it.
In your opinion, what is the very best map for Space Station 13 and why?
This is going to be extremely biased here, but it's not Box Station, it's Meta Station.
Ah. The box v meta argument goes on.
Yes, I just honestly want Meta Station at the moment. Really helps with population, high population. Box Station cannot handle 150 plus people.
You guys might want to try to appropriate Delta Station. It is huge.
Yeah, I've heard of Delta. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard of it, and it might be good. I'll have to see.
Now, what is your favorite Antag role and why?
Favorite Andak role would have to be, well, Wizards. Wizards can honestly be either the most fun or the most hilariously failing type of Antags. You can get one which goes around giving everyone and jaunting everyone. You can get one that's just goes around making clunes, which is hilarious in itself if the wizard is actually successful with all that. There's the ones which just generally be annoying and non-lethal, ones which deal. It's just so much room for potential with wizards, for fun in that.
So, we're nearing the end of the interview. This is the last official question. I'm starting to ask this to everyone just to hear their output or input on it. But, clown or mime?
Oh, clown for sure. Clown. Clowns have way more room for fun if they do things right. You can get the best clowns around who tell jokes. We had a Plasma Man clown once who just kept telling chemistry jokes all the time.
It was pretty good.
You also have the type of clowns which just hole up in the public garden making banana peels and hailing the honk mother.
Well, I mean, you got to do you as a clown. That's what's interesting is no two are really alike.
Yeah. There's also the clowns which go around stealing people's shoes. I don't see that often anymore, but it's a good thing. More clowns should do often.
That's pretty good.
Slip them, take their shoes, throw their shoes in front of them, and run off, honking.
As we've reached the end of the interview, do you have anything you want to communicate to the Space Station 13 community? Shoutouts, apocalyptic warnings, requests, or so on? This time is yours.
The honk mother comes, beware. But no, seriously, just honestly, for the community, have fun with the game. If you're starting to get mad, have a break. Those sorts of things. Don't let yourself burn out.
All right. Thank you for your time, sir. And if you guys want to see more of this, upvote and subscribe, and I'll try to interview more. If you are interested in being interviewed, please contact me in the description box below. You will see an email. Thank you.